All right. Welcome, ladies. So excited to be here this evening. I miss doing these. Joanne has been doing them, and I'm so happy that she took on that role and just loves doing it. But I love doing it too. So when she can't, it's always a pleasure to do this. So welcome again, Dawn. So happy to have you with us. Very exciting. And
Thank
so,
you for
yeah.
having me.
So every week we present to you an amazing woman entrepreneur that has a story, and we want to know, who this person is behind the success, because it takes guts to start a business, and we're just so blessed every time we're able to speak to someone that is, agreeing to share their journey and just get to know a little bit of how this all started. So maybe we can start by asking you, Dawn, just to tell us a little bit about yourself, just to kind of a brief intro.
Okay. Since I talk a lot, you just say cut.
All right, I got you.
Let's see. I grew up in New York. I got a finance degree, wanted to be an actress. Obviously, that didn't work because here I am. And I've been in the business now almost 16 years. It's a little over 15 years now. And I love this job. So I'm like, everything happens for a reason. And here I am helping people reach their financial goals with peace of mind and economic confidence. So I became a certified financial planner last year, and I'm just excited. I keep creating new things and new programs just to help everybody, because that's my job. I'm here to change the world and help everyone, or at least the people I can.
That's it.
We can't save everybody.
Oh, wow. That's really cool. We'll get back to this whole shift that you did, That's really exciting. Well, maybe another question I have for you is, how did you know that you were destined to be an entrepreneur?
Let's see. It must have been when I was little, because I used to have, we would go shovel driveways when it snowed. We had an apple tree in the yard. So I always had to, it came from there was 5 sisters at once living in the household. So I always had to be the best so I could get the most money. So I worked hard, got most of the apples, and then shoveled as many driveways. I would even save my lunch money.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, okay, good, I'll save the money. We're still getting, lunch money. And then in high school, I was like, you know what? We were selling, how you sell candy for fundraisers. I was like, hey, why don't I just go get some candy and sell it? So I kind of did that too, selling lollipops, like blow pops. And I was doing pretty good. But then I was smart enough to know, because other people started copying me and they started getting in trouble. So I quit right away. So I never got in trouble. So I guess it was kind of just naturally in me. But then the funny thing, in college, I remember being asked if I want to take an entrepreneurial course, and I'm like, hell, no way, I don't want to do that, because I don't want to be in charge of anything. But here I am today, and it's like, wait, I love it. So it's like my child self knew this is what I wanted to do. My adult self was like, no, you don't want to do this. And then, yeah, so your inner child always knows.
That's it. Wow. But is it when you were younger, that's when you kind of decided to go into acting at that point? When did that happen?
To be full disclosure, I always dreamt of it, but I always thought I was like an ugly duckling. I was like, I wasn't pretty enough. And then somehow I turned 18 and I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm going to go do this now. And then it didn't happen, but that actually prepared, because I could take rejection so well that it doesn't even faze me.
Wow.
It's just like, boom. So my whole life has prepared me to be an entrepreneur, I guess you could say, even though I didn't recognize it at first.
Wow, that is so cool. And where did this love for finances and numbers come? When did that happen?
Well, since I was adopted and we grew up poor before we were adopted, I was like, I'm never going to be poor again. Seriously, I was so poor. We didn't even have a dentist. I had a black hole in my tooth. And I really wish I could find that picture, but it's at my parents' house somewhere, because I'm like, yeah, I was like, I'm never going to do that. It's just, we would eat egg noodles and cottage cheese, which I still love to this day, but I guess because it was so cheap.
Wow.
I was like, I can't be poor. And that's one of my blocks I always got to continually work on. It's like fear of running out and losing it all.
Mm,
That motivation is like, never do I want to go there again. And then if I did it and I get out of it, I want to help other people. You
that's
know?
right. Absolutely. It's always, I find that a lot of us, go into a field because, we lived something
Mhm.
and it just so impacted us that we want to share it with the world.
Mhm.
So that
Exactly.
is really interesting. And so, would you say that where you are now, would you say that you are living the dream, or how would you define your success?
Well, other people would look at me and say, yes, you're living the dream. But as you know, entrepreneurs, we're never satisfied. We're like, no, we're not at the level where we want to be. But when you look at it and you're grateful, it's like, I have my dream car. I live in a gorgeous apartment building, one of the best in the area. So, and it's like, I'm able to, I guess I am living the dream. I work when I want to work. I have two other businesses too. And it's just, so yeah, when you look at it, you have to be grateful for what you have, and you're always going to want more to get to the next level. So
That's
I
so
would say, yeah,
true.
having the time freedom and doing what I love. So actually, yeah, that's the definition of living the dream: doing what you love and having your time freedom. Because you could have a job where you're making a lot of money, but you hate it. So you're not really living any dream. You're living in hell. So,
Absolutely. Love that you say that, because that's definitely the motto of the movement, is just doing what you love and loving what you do, because really and truly, that is the only way that you can really get to that definition of success. And like you said, success is very different for each of us. And I just love the fact that, you found that, what? You have, the car that you've always dreamed of. You're living in a great, space. And though that's part of, what constitutes your success.
mhm,
And I'm sure that there's other things as well, right? So
mhm,
sometimes we like to focus on material things, but I have
mhm.
a feeling you've overcome a lot.
And
I
I
have
used
a
to be like
feeling,
that.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm like, I got to make this amount of money. Then I know if I'm successful. And it's like, no, that's really not the measure of success. Like another true measure of success is all the people I've helped. So it's like
mm,
there and like, oh, I am so thrilled. Like, can I just share this little success today? Today I had like, I've been doing the webinars. I did one for you, your people. And someone today is just like, Dawn, guess what? I did that and I got a job that I was like that I was praying over. I'm like, that is freaking awesome. So it's
that's
like, yeah,
awesome.
so even if like technically that's not a monetary success for me, but it's a success because I impacted
Absolutely,
that person's life. So great.
absolutely.
So I overcame the whole, oh, I got to make this much money because yeah, that's not really success as I've learned and grown. And it's no, it's the impact that you leave on others. That's really success.
Absolutely
Mhm.
love that. So, were you always like, when was it that you were doing the 9 to 5? Because I know you weren't always an entrepreneur, because it
Oh
wasn't
no.
always what you wanted.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, I
yeah.
didn't know. Let's see. I just had quit, like, decide, well, not quit, but like really was like, okay, I got to get a job. So I was working at Bed Bath and Beyond in their buying office, which is in Long Island. And actually, the only reason I did work there was because they let me go on auditions. It was close to New York, so I'd go back and forth.
Ah,
But it was a grind, and it was like 9 to 6. They added an extra hour, so I sit there, I
wow.
watch the clock, and I'm like, this is hell. I'm like, this is not what I really want to do. And then this opportunity came along. It actually was like a MetLife was the actual company that I had the opportunity with. And then everyone at work was like, don't do that, Dawn. My husband did that. And it's so hard. He fails. Like so many people go into it and they fail. And I'm like, I'm not going to listen. I'm going. I'm doing it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting, eh? I'm
Yeah.
sure these people, that were saying that, look at you now and
Yeah.
they regret what they were saying, right?
Yeah, and that's my problem too. Sometimes I'm always going to prove someone wrong. They tell me I can't do something, I'm doing it. Even my dad and my mom, they beg me. They're like, Dawn, no, go back to school. We'll pay for you to get your master's, to go become a teacher. Don't work. And back then it was all commissions. Like, don't work for a commission job. Oh my God, you're going to stop. I'm like, nope, I'm doing it.
That's
And
it.
there were rough times, let me tell you. But I
Yeah,
yeah.
that's right. Love that. And yeah, maybe you can talk to us a little bit about, maybe one of those rough times, were you in a place like you were second guessing yourself and kind of, wanting to quit and kind of wondering if these people, were right, that you couldn't prove them wrong. Was there a time like that that
Oh yeah,
happened?
there's been like a couple of times, especially early on, because in the first, when you're first starting out, you get 19 weeks of a salary, and then boom, it goes away. So when it went away, it's like,
Mm,
oh, that's kind of scary. And I was like,
yeah.
should I just become a pharmaceutical rep? That's pretty easy. Just go to doctors. And then I think later that year, things got really bad, and I was like, okay, I'll go bartend. And I didn't want people to know, so of course I didn't go to a popular bar. I went to this crappy corner hole in the wall bar, and obviously didn't make enough money there. So I went to go help like a neighbor doing some labor for him and trying to remodel a house, which I was like, oh my god, I'm going to lose it all. The whole biggest
Wow.
I just kept going because I'm like, I'm not going to sell anything to my clients that they don't need. I'm like, I'm just going to do whatever it takes. So it's bartended, did like helping that neighbor, which was embarrassing. I'm like, I'm a freaking woman. I'm sitting here digging holes and scraping paint into cabinets
Wow.
and repainting them. I'm like, what? This is not my life. I'm like, what the hell? But it's part of the lesson. You got to do whatever it takes, no matter what. Even if, yeah, you just do it. Because now, look, I'm just that house is making me money. I'm sitting here bringing in. I have another business where money just flows to me because I help people. So it's like, and then the financial stuff. So
That's it.
I think you got to be tested that you have what it takes to withstand. And it's like, are you going to
So
do the hard
true.
work no matter what it is? And then, because that way you won't appreciate it too. And then where I am today, if I didn't go through the struggles, if I was just, oh, she was just already born wealthy, like I wouldn't have my story. Like I wouldn't
Yep.
have to be like another financial planner. Like no one could identify with me. So now it's like, yeah, I'm a real person. I started at the bottom and I'm on the way up. So
Love it. This is so good. And I want to touch on that actually, you talking about just making it in the financial planner field because there's so many of them,
yeah.
and I'm pretty sure it was hard to kind of make your mark and really just come to a place where you're holding your own and you're able to just show people what you can do differently, just so that they don't put you in the same hole as everyone. So tell us about it. How did you market yourself in order to distinguish yourself in this field?
Okay, well, let me just start from the beginning. So I really had no help. I moved to an area where I knew nobody, so all I did was cold call. Again,
Wow.
and I didn't mind cold calling because I was used to rejection. So I was like, okay.
Wow.
Um, so I did that, and I didn't have any family members because other people in the business they had family that just they inherited books. So I just smiled and dialed, as they said. So I did
Wow.
that. Um, and then what else did I do? Yeah, did the side jobs, whatever I needed to do, and just kept going. I didn't quit. I was like, okay, I'm just going to keep going because what else am I going to do? I
Yeah.
had no choice. And then it wasn't until this year that I actually decided how, because I was always trying to I was doing all these different programs, like, oh, this program is going to work. And then I really wasn't using my voice. I was just, okay, I learned how to present this
Mm.
material, but it wasn't my material. And I kept searching, buy all these different systems, go pay for all these different coaches. And then this year, I finally found my voice and had the courage to share my story, which basically led to my whole presentation. And that has been like attracting clients. And it's actually even opened doors for me to do even coaching on money blocks, which I never would have thought I was going to do that. So, yeah, so I would say the biggest thing is don't try to follow everyone else because that's what I did. I was like, okay, well, this is what other financial planners are doing, but I did it all the hard way. I wasn't all referrals, and even now, I'm not all referrals. And I don't really get things handed to me. Maybe once when I worked for one guy, he gave me the worst of the worst people that he couldn't do anything with, and I was able to turn a couple of those into clients. But and then breaking out on my own to form my own company, that was crazy. People with what I had at that point don't do that. but I was like,
Wow.
I'll do it, and I'll just hope it all works out. And fortunately, like what it's worked out, and so I'm like very thankful for that. So it's just you just got to have it, and you just that passion inside of you. You just
That's
can't.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this, Dawn. This is great. So, that's, I think, because, something that we ask sometimes is, what do you think is the winning formula, for success as a woman entrepreneur? And I think you touched on one in the sense that, just being yourself, finding your voice, using it, because there's nobody else like you out there in the world. And so I just love that, the way that you kind of woke up to
Yeah.
yourself
I wish
and
it was sooner. Like, why did it take 15 years?
hey, you know what? There's always a reason. Better late than never. That's always my motto. And
Yeah.
so I commend you and congratulate you for that, because that is amazing. And now you're creating your own path, and so that's a really good ingredient for major success, because nobody is you and nobody can do what you do and nobody can give the results,
Mm-hmm.
to your clients that you do. Love
Yeah.
it. So what other secret sauce, or what you think is an ingredient for success for a women entrepreneur?
Well, it's don't give up. I remember I was at a conference and someone said success is right around the corner. You just can't see the corner.
Yeah.
So keep going and align with other mentors, and just stay around positive people. Get away from the people who are negative, because they're going to like bring you down, and believe in yourself. Like I meditate. I pray. I do my prayer all the time to kind of create my life. What else do I do? Oh, I also have these frequencies, and now this is cute too. So I listen to these frequencies. It's called the Genius, and so now I'm working on one for success. And I just started. When did we start these? I think it was Monday or Tuesday. And then someone actually before this call had sent me a message. They want to become a client. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. So it's like all these little rituals and just positivity. What else could I say contributed to my success? I think probably being poor, because I never wanted to go back there. I'm not telling people to be poor. Don't. What other things contribute? Yeah, hard work, dedication, and you got to do what you love, because you're not.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing, because that's what fuels the passion. Like creativity fuels the passion. Like you got to feel it inside and just go in and just don't give up. That's the only way you're going to fail, is if you give up.
That's
Yeah.
right. Love that. So let's talk about failure for a little bit. So I know that you had, a few episodes in your life, even just the whole switch, of careers.
Mm-hmm.
People could think, oh, well, she failed, to be an actress, so now she's doing this and all of that. But what is your take on failure? And, how did you kind of spin it so that it can become a positive thing in your life?
Okay, perfect. Well, obviously, being an actress, like trying to do that, that's like one in a million. But the thing is, it taught me to just go for my dreams, and it shaped me because I knew how to talk to people. So when you have those acting skills, you got to do a lot of improv too in the classes, and taking rejection well, and just spinning that around. So it enabled, even when I gave presentations, so I'm not like nervous or afraid, because I know how to talk to a crowd. So
Yeah,
it all kind of shaping me. And what was funny, what I couldn't figure out back then is I had that burning passion in my heart. I felt it. I'm like, I don't understand. Why am I not making it? This is what I want to do. This is my dream. But now it's like I'm kind of doing that. I did get my own TV show. It was a good show. So I'm like, I kind of did it. Like it might not have been in the way I thought. Like I wasn't in a movie. Well, that's still to come. You never know.
never know. Indeed.
So, and then even here, I would have never, like last year, I would have never dreamed of being like on an interview. I'm like, yeah, that's not going to happen. Like, what do I have to talk about? Who's going to want to interview me? So
Wow.
yeah. So it's kind of like it all kind of prepared me, like that stage presence, that being on camera ready, and just being comfortable in front of the camera. So it all kind of led me to the financial planning too, because even when we're not during COVID times, you got to be up presenting to people, and So it's all those skills were preparing me for where I finally ended up. And I guess your soul always knows where you're going to end up, but consciously you don't. So, and now I feel in alignment because it's like, there's nothing else I would want to do. I love my job now that I'm doing. So
Love it.
somebody calls me, I pay for a commercial or something, I'll go do that too. You know,
That's,
you have the flexibility. So.
that's right. You've created your own stage,
Yeah.
and so love it. This is amazing. So how about funding? So I know, like you said, it was, difficult at some points, during your journey. Was there any time that you had to, get some funding or maybe get creative, in getting some strategies in order to, have some kind of cash flow going as you were, even especially when you decided to go on your own? I'm pretty sure that there was definitely different things that you needed to think about or do in order to make sure that you were always taking care of the bills,
Yeah.
right?
And that's why I did like those part-time jobs, like the bartending job.
Mm,
Even now I have like a passive income stream comes in. And that's why I also was like, I got to get this income property because this is going to be income coming in. So that's kind of why I did all those things, just so it's like, I'm going to have different streams. So like when one business slows down, it's like, okay, it's not the only business.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I wish I could have had funding. That would have been good. And I could have did more marketing. That's why I'm very frugal with my expenses. Like as a financial planner, you have a million people coming at you wanting you to buy all their programs. So I know how to just say no.
That's
Um,
it.
yeah. And just kind of trust my gut what I know is going to work and like what isn't, just listen to that inner voice. But as far as funding, yeah, they don't really give any funding for financial planners. It would be nice, but I guess you could have taken a loan, but I'm so against like, oh, I didn't want to have that debt. I just kind of just did without. Like I didn't have a fancy car back then.
Mm,
So it just, yeah, that's kind of what I did.
nice. So it's they call it bootstrapping,
Oh,
so yeah.
okay.
That's great. Well, yeah, that's what a lot of people do because, especially women entrepreneurs, it's definitely proven, and there are statistics out there showing that banks and people that loan money, investors, are a lot less likely to actually encourage women entrepreneurs. So many times, we have to find creative ways in order to sustain ourselves and go after our dreams, right?
Yeah.
So it's great to see that you're able to find a few things to sustain you, different sources of income. That's definitely the key. How about partnerships? Have you had any partnerships, or you is that something that you believe in, and how do you go about doing those if you do?
Well, okay. Early in my career, I did partner up with some senior advisors, and again, they were all male, and they all didn't kind of work out. They were just kind of, it was just not a good strategy. Like the first partner, it was just like, okay, you're the chauffeur, Dawn, and you make all the calls, and I'll just do all the closing, but I do all the work. Well, I guess
Mm,
like without the closing, nothing happens. But I just felt like, okay. Then I had another partnership, and it just does. This doesn't really work out so well. Um, so then I decided, you know what? I'm just going to do it on my own because that was the biggest thing. I was afraid to go out on my own because I was just afraid
yeah.
something I like having someone there to call up. But the truth is, no one knows it all, and we all could still just call up like a colleague or something. So yeah, so that's kind of what it is. And I just formed a new partnership. I guess it would be, it's not a partnership, but it's like an association where I work with this partner with this women who are also, it's like all coming from our heart. We're in our heart space, and we help shed the truth about money and how to save for retirement. And then we give 5% of what we earn from that to our whatever charity we want to do. So I was like, oh, that's really great. So I really feel like that's going to be a good partnership. So I just entered into that. But other than that, I have my own company, and I have partnerships, but they're not in my company, whereas before I was in the company with their partnerships. So I guess by being burned, I just kind of want to do that and have outside partnerships. Like I'm not
Yeah.
ready, or I don't even know if I ever would want to bring in another partner. But I have like all these outside of my firm partnerships, which I'm happy. And it just happens by going to events, like go to industry events, and that's how I kind of met all these people. And so that's how I'd say how I kind of form my partnerships, networking events. I'm not full. I have actually, I just wrote to someone, an attorney that does all my estate planning work. I found him when I was very early in my career in the newspaper. He had just graduated from law school. So I was like, I sent him a congratulations card. Hey, let's meet. And he basically got all my estate planning business. So it was good. It flowed that way. I never got anything from him, but just my clients. So that's what's important.
Wow, that's amazing. Love that. Love that. Okay. Wow. I think you know what? We could listen to you all day. I mean, somebody here in the chat is saying I needed that today. So yeah, so definitely your story is very inspiring, and I'm very happy, you know, to have had you on here. And it's almost the end, so
wow, that was quick.
I know.
Yeah, I love talking to you too. This is great. It's like so thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. So maybe you can tell people how they can look for you, how can they find you, anything else that you want to share with them that, you know, they should be plugging into, and maybe some parting words too for us.
Sure. Well, actually, I just revamped my website. I haven't officially launched it, but you could go check that out. It's dsfinancialstrategies.com. And then if you could go like my YouTube page, dsfinancialstrategies.com, because I heard you need 100 subscribers and I'm only at 40.
Yeah.
That would be nice. If you're in the U.S. or like if you have a visa or a property in the U.S., I can help you with financial planning. My number is 215-660-0288. You can follow me on Facebook. Where else? Twitter. I don't really do much. I'm trying to all the social channels. You can find me.
Awesome.
And let's see. Some parting advice. I guess trust yourself. Don't listen to anybody else, because you know what's best for you, and just follow your heart and just come from a place of love and in your heart space and pray, and everything's going to work out.
Yay! Awesome. Wow. Thank you so much again, Dawn. Just amazing. Just a lovely soul. So everyone, thank you for tuning in. Those who have live, those who will coming in to watch the replay. So we'll put your links. Maybe Dawn, you can go in the group and put your links too, so that people can connect with you there. Yeah, so thank you, everyone. We'll see you next week, same time, same place, to hear another amazing woman entrepreneur share her journey. And yeah, so again, thank you so much, Dawn.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
My pleasure. Bye, everyone.
Bye.